Man, y'all know the face, y'all know the name. Y'all tuned into the World's Realest Podcast, Talk Ain't Cheap Podcast, hosted by yours truly, Mr. It's a Movie, Cletus Real Talk. And in traditional Talk Ain't Cheap fashion, y'all know how I do. I do not introduce my guests. I feel like I don't do a good job of introducing people. I feel like my guests can speak to their talents and their blessings on a better level than I can. So guests, please introduce yourself.
What's going on? I'm Shane Velez, out of Staten Island, and I'm an oil painter.
Shane, you are a very interesting person. I've known you for many years, and I feel like art is not one thing that I associated with you for many of the years that I've known you. Like, what was your earliest artistic memory?
I was 5 years old. I was introduced to pastels, and I drew a tiger. And when they saw this tiger, they compared it to the other 5-year-olds, and they were like, nah, this is different. And I remember the looks on my parents and my teachers' faces, and I was confused. I was just like, okay, like I just did what I was doing, right? Whatever came natural. And now looking back, I'm like, that's crazy for a 5-year-old, you know? But that was my earliest memory.
Do you still have the picture of the tiger?
I do. It's my aunt's now. She holds on to that. She ain't letting it go.
That's dope. That's dope. So I know you since high school. Did you go to what junior high school did you go to? 72?
72.
You went to 72. Okay. And PS school you went to what?
54.
54. All right. And you went to Wagner, obviously the best high school in Staten Island.
Facts.
So during high school, were you doing art as well, or were you just kind of like just focusing on other things? Because high school is like a very like instrumental time in people's lives. You know, so many things are happening. You be developing into the young man that you want to be. Like, were you doing art in high school, or was that something that you were kind of just experimenting with?
Yeah, no. If anything, I was doing art in 72, and Wagner's art program attracted me to it. So that's why I went to Wagner initially.
And what was art like in high school for you? Like, was that something that you thought that you were going to do for the rest of your life, or was it something that you just did as like a side hustle?
No. I went to Wagner specifically to do art and hone my skills. You know, so it was definitely a passion of mine.
Dope. At what point did you realize that oil painting was going to be the medium that you use?
That was when I went to SUNY Purchase in upstate New York, and I think it was my third semester, and I had to take an oil painting class. And at first I was atrocious. Like, it was the fact that it doesn't dry. I was so used to using acrylic paint, right, which dries quickly for those who know. But I was making a mess, and then I just said, you know what? The paint takes a long time to dry, so let me just slow down. Let me take my time with my creative process. And I fell in love with it. And I was I think I was 22 at the time.
That's dope. So what was your experience at SUNY Purchase like during art in college? Like, were you like making art pieces of girls and just giving it out to them and just swagging them? Or like, what were you doing as an artist during your time in college? 'Cause college is crazy.
Yeah, college is crazy, but no, I was with my lady at the time, who's now my fiance. And
congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. No, we did have to take figurative drawing and painting classes. So obviously the models were nude, so that helped out my skill a lot, you know. But no, I wasn't doing that. I wasn't painting no French girls, you know, like Titanic, you know. I wasn't doing none of that. But college was a great experience, man. You meet so many creatives, man. You know, it doesn't matter if you're a musician, you're in film, you just do illustration, you're an oil painter, whatever. There's always a connection in every single art practice, you know. So that was great for me. It helped me a lot being immersed in that community.
So why did you choose SUNY Purchase and not like an FIT or Parsons?
So it's funny you say that. I went to FIT for one semester.
Really?
Yeah, right out of high school. And that was not a good experience. I took college as a joke, you know. I completely failed. Like, it was bad, you know. And I was actually in the wrong major Yeah, I didn't even realize.
What were you majoring in at the time?
So I thought visual design was like illustration or something like that, or like visual arts, right? I was so ignorant. So I just said, okay, I'm gonna do visual design. No, visual design is like, you know, when you go to Macy's or like these like high-end stores in the city and you see like the mannequins in the windows and stuff, that's visual design. So when they said, oh, take out, you know, take out like your like 0.5, 0.7 lead pencil and take out your rulers and stuff, I was like, what in the world is this? We're over here cutting freaking oak tag boards with like X-Acto knives. I'm like, all right, now I'm in the wrong major. Like this went left real quick, right? And also I didn't care, man. You know, like for most people, that transition from high school to college, high school is a breeze, man. You don't have to try at all, you know. So when I went to college, it was a joke, and I didn't even last till Thanksgiving in my first semester. And then when I got out of that, I was really discouraged. I was like, you know what? Like, art's not for me. I completely got discouraged. I don't know why. I don't remember why at the time. But then I got into bodybuilding. And when I got into bodybuilding, I was like, you know what? I think I just want to do sports medicine. And that's when I started attending CSI. And I mean, we'll get into that later, but yeah, there was a long gap there before I went to SUNY Purchase.
How long was the gap?
It was from 18 to 21.
So what were you doing art at that time while that gap was happening, or did you just kind of like just completely stop?
No art at all. No art, nothing. I was in the gym, working at Lids, and going to school and getting my associates. That's it.
Do you feel like art is a passion to you because every time you run away from it, it just calls you back? Or do you think it's one of those things that you've just become accustomed to doing and now it's part of like your everyday life?
No, I've always gravitated back towards it. You know, it's definitely a passion, and I know it's permanent.
How did you know it's permanent though? Like, how did you get to that point when you recognize like this is what I want to do for the rest of my life?
When I picked up oil painting.
So let's talk about the time at SUNY Purchase when you finally got to that point and you're doing art and you found oil painting. Were you working on other mediums before then, or was oil painting the only medium that you were doing? Like, were you experimenting with other mediums? Like, were you doing sculpting? Were you doing different type of paints? Were you working on different type of styles? Or was oil painting like the thing that just was like, this is what I want to do?
Yeah, so before I took my oil painting class, I had to take sculpting classes and graphic design classes. I didn't like graphic design. I've never been a computer whiz, you know. I just don't like it. But you know, now with AI and everything, I need to get on it or I'm gonna get left, you know. So yeah, I've been working on that. But I started. It actually goes back. So with oil painting, it allowed me to paint the flesh tones the way I wanted to paint them, right? There's something beautiful about the way the oil paint blends, the way you're able to render the medium, right? And once I was able to do that and achieve some sort of likeness or realism that I thought was realism at the time, but of course, you know, you improve with your skill, I was like, no, like this is it. I gotta stick with this. But ironically, the faculty at SUNY Purchase, they thought that I was a better sculptor. Yeah, they thought I was a better sculptor, and they were trying to push me to just do full-on sculpting, get rid of like illustration, all that, you know, and just go straight sculpting, but more so like abstract. And no knock to any abstract artist, like your style is validated. There's abstract art that is absolutely beautiful. I just like painting people and portraits, you know. I like painting figurative paintings and narrative paintings. That's my, you know, that's my niche. That's what I'm attracted to. But to answer your question on the medium that I was really experimenting with before oil painting, it was Prismacolor pencil.
So what is Prismacolor pencil?
So Prismacolor pencils, I actually think I have a box around here somewhere. You know, I actually just put that in storage. That goes to show you how I don't use it, but I wish I would have had it in person. But Prismacolor pencil is like a very high quality version of colored pencils. They're the material is much thicker than like your average colored pencil, and you're able to layer it and really get like a smooth, like thick wax layer, and you're able to blend the colors way better than you would with like, you know, your regular cheap Crayola color pencils. So yeah, they're expensive, definitely expensive. But that was when I started introducing color into my portraits.
So you were doing a lot of black and whites before then, or what were you doing before the color?
Yeah, just drawing black and white and charcoal. Yeah. Actually, if you look up there, those are all charcoal drawings.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. So when you got introduced to oil painting, did you realize at that point that this was the thing that you wanted to do? And when I say that, I'm saying, did you realize like I can really make something happen with this kind of platform, with this type of art, like this type of oil painting?
Yeah, absolutely. I started working from photo references, and I realized that I was able to capture more than just the photo. You know, that's a thing in the art world. Like, some artists have a problem breaking away from the photo because you got to add your own artistic license to it. You know, you got to bring out the soul, man, in the person. You know, a photo just looks flat, right? It's boring. A photo always washes out the whites and really deepens the darks. So you could tell a photo's a photo, but when you look at a painting, it doesn't matter who the person is, you view them differently immediately. You know, and when I realized that, I was like, no, like this is what I want to do, man. I want to accentuate the soul in people, the warmth of everyone's soul, you know.
And that is your mantra on your Instagram for your art, is accentuating the warmth of the soul on canvas, or accentuating the warmth on canvas of the soul of the portrait. Yeah. When did you recognize that? When did you come to a point where that you were like, this is the mantra for my art, this is what I want to do, and this is what I want to convey to the world through my art?
So I've always been a very caring person, always wore my heart on my sleeve. Those who are my close friends know that I got your back no matter what, you know. And even those who I don't know, like I'm always trying to do something extra for somebody, you know. And people have told me, oh, you do too much, but really, am I doing too much? You're only on this earth for a short amount of time, man. You know, be impactful while you're here, you know. So with that, I kind of took that motto, and I implemented that into my paintings, man. I was like, I gotta let these people be seen. Anybody I paint, I want them to be seen for who they truly are. I want people to see them glow. And I don't know if you see, but my paintings kind of have a glowing essence to them, right? So that's definitely intentional.
How did you develop your style in art? And what would you define your style to be?
I wouldn't call it hyperrealism, but I would definitely call it realism, portrait realism. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And how did you find your style?
It started when I was doing my senior thesis at SUNY Purchase. So my senior thesis gets pretty deep. It was dedicated to my dad, and he grew up in a very rough neighborhood, East New York, in the 70s and 80s. Came from a very broken home, and you know, as a grown man, like I see a lot of things that you know could attribute to some of his actions that he missed as a child, right? And don't get me wrong, I am beyond blessed to have him as a father. He's done more than I could have ever asked for, right? But my style started when I was painting him. I did a series of paintings to kind of give him that one moment of love that he never received in his childhood, you know? So I said, you know what? I'm gonna make a whole series of paintings on my pops from photos that I feel resonate with him the most. Like this one, the one behind you. And And I'm gonna tell him to come and view the final, exhibit at SUNY Purchase, and he's gonna feel seen. And it worked out perfectly, man. I even got this tough man to cry a little bit, which was the goal. I'm not gonna lie, that was the goal. But yeah, that definitely I'll never forget that moment. And so going back on the style, I developed it with painting this series of him. Yeah. And after that I was like, nah, I'm sticking with this because the finishing product was gorgeous to me, right? He was literally glowing. And even he said it, and I was like, you know what? Nah, that's it. I gotta keep that glow in my paintings.
What did your senior project tell you about yourself? Like, what did you learn about yourself during that time, outside of just developing a style? But like, what were some of the things that some of the emotions that you felt when you was doing that project?
That I'm selfless. That I'm a selfless person, and I'm a very emotional person. For those who know me, they know that I am, but I hide it, as everybody hides some of their deepest feelings here and there. But no, I'm emotional, man. I don't like playing the tough guy, man. I feel like everybody deserves love, right? And another emotion was I realized how serious I am about painting. For anybody who really busted their butt in college, you was playing all-nighters at least 4 to 5 days a week. Like, it was crazy, right? So nah, I probably slept in my last semester at college. I probably slept on average maybe 25 hours a week, So it was crazy. So that series taught me a lot about myself. Also because I was trying to do a lot in a little bit of time. I mean, my peers in college could tell you that I was going crazy. I mean, the size of that painting behind you, that's a 6 by 5.5 painting. I made the frame myself. Like, it was a great feat for me at the time, So yeah, this series is legendary for me.
So do you usually approach art in series, or do you just kind of do one piece of art at a time and then let it kind of marinate and go from there?
It depends. Like, if I'm working on a commission, obviously I'm just focusing on that commission, right? Because there's a time frame. I'm trying to get to the client on time. But if I'm working on a personal series, nah, I'm working on all of them at the same time. Because sometimes I'll discover something that worked on one canvas and implement it in the other canvas. I like to have uniformity in my series as well.
That's dope. So what made you want to get to a point where you started operating and creating series? Like, you have your exotic safari series. You have, the art pieces that you did for Biggie. You have the Spike Lee art piece that you did. Like, what made you want to do, like, I'm going to work in series of art pieces versus I'm just going to do one art piece at a time and focus on that one art piece? Like, why series?
Because, people, on average, a person looks at a painting for no more than like 3 seconds, right? So I'm thinking, how can I grasp the audience more, right? So if you look at one painting and, let's say it's the most beautiful painting, you're probably going to spend, maybe a minute tops in front of it, especially if you're not an artist, For artists, it's another story. I mean, I could go to the Met and spend an hour in front of one painting just dissecting it, But it's all about grasping the audience and really having a hold on them in front of your piece. So if there's more than one painting, now they're starting to look back and forth. Saying, oh, like, what's good in this piece? What's good in that piece? Wow, look how they relate to each other, right? And I just started really, like, starting to create series now, especially this series that I'm working on now for indigenous people, the Caribbeans, Tainos specifically. So I'm trying to make this series at least, like, 10 pieces. Wow. And I'm only almost done with my second one, right? So that's a new project that I'm very passionate about.
So tell us more about this Taino series and the indigenous people of the Caribbean. What made you want to start the series, and what about this series are you so passionate about?
So one thing, as a Puerto Rican, or I would say a New York Rican, I'm pretty disconnected from my roots, you know. And I was like, you know what, I gotta tap in. My brothers inspired me to really tap into the culture. My brother literally taught himself how to speak Spanish. My parents never taught me how to speak Spanish, ironically, you know, and they would always speak Spanish when they didn't want us to know what they were saying.
I feel like that's every immigrant story though. Facts.
Yeah. No, it was crazy, man. But yeah, they inspire me because they're very passionate about Puerto Rico specifically. So I was like, you know what? I got to incorporate that into my art. You know, so with this series, I'm trying to bring awareness because a lot of information was lost on the Tainos, you know? I mean, Christopher Columbus came and did damage, to say the least. You know, so now I have the opportunity, and I feel like I have the job to do this, right? Like this is very purposeful to me, right? I hope that this series can be seen all around the world one day because you don't see a lot of art based on Tainos, right? I mean, there's only one museum for Tainos, and I think it's in Haiti. Yeah.
Not even in Puerto Rico.
Not even in Puerto Rico, man. I mean, you'll probably see like some Taino based art, but a museum? Yeah, no, just in Haiti. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So what makes a good artist a good artist? Because a lot of people just be drawing, they say and selling it for $1,000, saying that they him. Like, to you, what makes a good artist a good artist?
Oh my God. What makes a good artist a good artist? What makes a good artist is when they're actually doing research behind the art that they're creating, right? If you speak to like well-seasoned artists, like they're very smart, they're very intelligent people, because every single piece that they're doing deep diving research on it, right? I mean, just to something as simple as I need to learn how to paint this rock correctly. They'll start looking up different types of rocks, how the rocks were created, because they want to paint it from the inside out, you know? And that's just on a minute level. But that's what I consider a good artist. There's a lot of fluff out here, man. Especially, and this is not a knock on abstract artists at all, but you do see some of those paintings that it's like a line in the middle of a canvas, and the person just, you know, they have a lot of chatter behind the painting, trying to I call it a sales pitch, right? That's what it is to me. But then you see those abstract pieces and you're like, wow, this is beautiful. This has depth. This has color. Like this is creative, you know? And but then you see people who do realism portraiture and you don't know if they're tracing. You don't know if, you know, they're like sometimes the portraits look very flat. Like going back to using a photo reference, right? Like it looks like the photo. Like if your paint is gonna look like the photo, then why? Like I should just get the photo. You know, there has to be a different essence to it. There has to be a deeper emotional connection to it. You know, so I mean, this is a sensitive topic, and a lot of people could get offended with my definition of what a real artist is. But I mean, I'm just being transparent. You know, and yeah, especially with like what blows my mind is like this whole NFT stuff and like, you know, these little digital drawings is like it's crazy. I don't know a lot about NFTs. I'm simply a dilettante towards it, but yeah, that's a real artist for me, man. Yeah, someone who you know is passionate, who you know is in the lab, who you know is doing the research, studying, right? Like they're walking the walk, right? They're not just talking it. So, yeah.
Very dope. I understand, because a lot of people will put out content or art just for the sake of making $1, and I feel like with most artists, it's bigger than the money. I feel like with anything that you do, when you're doing it with purpose, it's bigger than money. You know, you're trying to find a way to, you know, show the world something that, the world never seen before, or trying to communicate to the world who you are in a way that they never seen before. So I always figured that, that's a big way of showing the world, like, who you are and stuff like that. How do you navigate the politics of art? Because I know with anything there's politics. So how do you navigate the politics of art?
The politics. I'm not a political person, right? I kind of just do my own thing, and I focus on what's around me. Now, the politics of art, like, there's a lot of grimy stuff going on out here, man. I just want to speak on one thing. If there is a gallery that is charging you any more than $200 to hang your work, that's a money grab. Don't do it, especially for these young aspiring artists who are like yearning to have their art on a wall. Do not do it. It's not worth it, man. They're not legit. It's a money grab and it's on to the next one. Especially if they're hanging your stuff in a salon style like this, right? Nah, man, you'll know when you walk into a gallery who's real and who's really about it and who's just trying to, take your wallet, So that's just some advice for the young artists. And I was a victim of that, man. I was paying like $200, $300 just to get my art on the wall. And then not only that, they're taking 50% of what you're selling on top, right? So how much sense does that make? Is it really about the art? No, it's not. It's not. So that's one thing that I've navigated away from, And now I'm represented by this gallery, Landmark Art Space in Chelsea. Really cool people. Shout out to Reed and Maxine. Really, really, really nice couple. Very sweet people. And they're doing group shows. Like they're banging out group shows and really getting a bunch of very talented artists from all around the city and just doing art shows almost every Thursday, which is kind of unheard of, right? It's very high volume. And they're doing a great job, and I'm honored to be, have my collection in there with them. And I've also been doing smaller shows out in Queens, in Brooklyn, here and there. But yeah, I'm trying to do it right, because there's a lot of people that just want to use you, man. They see that you're the prize, man, and they trying to ride the wave. So you just gotta move correctly, man. Just be wise.
So tell me more about the art gallery hustle and the artist hustle. Like, how do you make it make sense for the artist? Like, let's say someone's like want to be an up and coming artist, and someone's an up and coming artist, and they're trying to really do art, make money, and do this for real. What advice do you have for those artists on how to really make it make sense?
I mean, honestly, I'm in it right now. I'm still making it make sense, I'm still grinding. I'm over here making a series. I don't know if it's gonna be bought. I don't know where it's gonna go, but I'm doing it because it's my intuition. It's what I feel, right? And if you ain't putting on canvas what you feel, then what are you doing, right? So I would say you gotta network, man, constantly. And that's something I learned this year. I've put myself out there so much this year, and like the blessings have continuously just poured through, man. It's like, I don't know, for anyone who believes in God, like God's gonna meet you halfway, but you got to put in that other half, man. You got to put in that work.
Faith without work is dead.
Amen. Facts. So that's what I've been doing, and you know what? It works, man. It works. Some call it manifesting, some call it the universe, whatever, right? But for me, it's God. It's always gonna be God.
How has religion played a role in your art and your creation?
Oh, it's got me through my toughest, lowest times. Also I was raised in the church, Christian, and if anything, I did this crazy abstract series on Jesus on the cross when I didn't know what to do in purchase. And this was actually right before I made the series of my dad. I completely went left. I wasn't doing no realism. I was like, you know what? I want to really like paint with emotion. And I thought about the most emotional book in the Bible, story in the Bible, Jesus on the cross, man, bleeding out. not even recognizable. And that got me through it, man. That got the creative juices flowing. And I was like, you know what? I know what direction I want to go in now. And it may not make sense to some, but hey, God works in mysterious ways, man. You know?
So where are you at currently in your art journey? Like, where would you say you are when it comes to just creating and just pursuing the art? Like, where are you at in the creative journey?
I'm a working artist, man. I'm a working artist, and let's take that starving word out the equation, right? Right, because we gonna get ours regardless, right? So
You a hustler. You from New York. You can't be broke and doing art. You gotta figure
facts. Look,
I love the art, but I can't be broke, baby.
no, absolutely not, man. Yo, and that's another thing I want to say. That's another artists. Please learn how to invest. Learn how to invest. You ain't getting no pension. You ain't getting no 401k. You ain't getting none of that. Get your own. Save your dollar. Multiply that, man. You know? Because it's very important. Like, you don't want to be starving, right? You want to have your stable job and you want to grind. Now, if you were blessed with resources, you know, monetary resources, then God bless you. That's awesome, right? But it ain't like that for most of us out here, right? So just grind and just keep going. Just keep going because eventually something's gonna break, right? And that's honestly, I've been blessed to have, you know, clients hit me up constantly for like commissions here and there, and there's times where, you know, commissions are literally paying months of rent, you know, and it's like, wow, thank you. Like, I didn't even see this coming, you know. And also, it's not even about the money with commissions. You're creating relationships with people, you know. If anything, this is one of the cool thing about painting portraits. You're allowing people to see them in a different light, in a different medium, right? And that's something that I always thought was pretty cool. But all in all, just put your head down and just keep moving forward, man. Just keep moving forward. Break through all those barriers. Ignore the hate. And it sounds cliche. Just ignore the haters. Ignore it all, because you're going to get a lot of people knocking your vision. But at the end of the day, God gave you that vision. So no wonder people don't see it. It ain't their vision, it's yours. God gave it to you for a reason.
What role does love play in your art? You know, you say you about to get engaged. You've been.
I am engaged.
I'm sorry. You are engaged. Let me see. All us the single folk always talk about we about to. Nah, he is engaged. He found his one. So, what role has the love of your life played in your art?
Oh, she's my rock, man. She it's crazy. Yesterday, it was one of those. You know, we was gonna go to Costco, stack up the fridge again. You know, do you know, our regular laundry day, whatever. And I was like, look, I can't. Like, I gotta go to Queens. I gotta pick up my art from this gallery because I'm showing at 2 more galleries this upcoming Thursday and Friday. Dude, I was driving for like 3 hours yesterday. It was crazy. Not only that, but the highway was jam packed because everybody was going to the Mets game.
The BQE is closed this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, look, I call her my love, right? It's funny because in the beginning of our relationship, I was like, I don't want to call you babe. I don't want to call you baby. Like that. That's basic. I was like, you know what? Let's find something else. I said, okay, I'll call you my love. That's cool. So we agreed on that, right? But that's just a cute little story. But yeah, no, I was like, look, I gotta do this. I gotta grind. She was like, you know what? We dropped everything. She came with me. We went to the gallery. We dropped that off. We picked that up, and then I took her out to eat at this lit restaurant in Flushing, Queens called Inca Paisa, Peruvian and Colombian. And then right from there, I was like, look, I'm gonna have to varnish some paintings this week. So we went straight to Blick in Paramus, New Jersey. That's like another hour drive. But anyways, like you get what I'm saying. Like, yo, she's a ride or die, man, and I'm blessed to have her.
How did you know she was the one?
That's a deep question, bro. How did I know she's the one? And my love this pause is because I'm trying to think of something real good to say. Okay. I'm trying to really. It ain't because it ain't nothing there. This is because, this is deep. Real deep. This is real deep.
I don't know.
No, she's the one because I see the things that she does for me, man. I mean, she's always been there at my lowest moments. Like, I just connect with her like no other person ever. And I probably will never ever connect with anyone like I connect with her, and that's how I knew it. It's a soul tie, man, And I would love grow stronger every single day, man. I mean, there's not one thing we won't do for each other. And that's how I don't even have to think about her being the one. It's like innate. It's like God put it in, like you are the one, So that's how I know. And every day just being able to wake up next to her is a blessing, man. And I could get lovey-dovey and whatever, and but I don't know. This is about the art, but I don't know. But I love you to death, and you got me for life.
Has she inspired any of your art pieces?
Absolutely. She inspires me to create in general. Yeah, when I'm beat, tired, I'm tired. She's like, no, you got to keep going. You ain't done yet. Like it's like you working out. Like finish that set. It's crazy the amount of motivation this woman gives me, and just knowing that she's gonna have my babies one day, man. That's extremely overwhelming as it is, but that's motivation in itself, man. Like, not only do I have a responsibility to provide for this woman and take care of this woman, but I have the pleasure of taking care of her babies, And I told you, man, I'm gonna get deep, but you put me on the spot. So yeah, no, she's everything, man.
I'm happy for you, bro. A lot of people don't find love, So it's like, if you're able to find love, experience love, and just be in a space where love can motivate you to be more than who you used to be, I think that's a blessing.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that.
So, what is your favorite art piece that you've made thus far?
Well, I told you, like, my senior thesis will always be will always have the strongest emotional connection to me, because that was like my first real attempt at doing realism, and also like being confident enough to just display it like that. It's not easy. It's not easy creating something and then like displaying it to the world, because the criticism is crazy, Fortunately for me, I didn't get much negative criticism, but it's rough. That's actually the one thing they teach you as soon as you go into art school. They're like, please expect to get criticized. Like, you will be getting critiqued daily. And if anything, that helped me develop like emotional integrity and tolerance towards that. But my favorite piece is the one that I'm working on at the moment, because with each piece I'm putting more and more into it, and also every piece that I've created before that influences the newest one.
You said something that was very interesting to me. You said, at times, a painting has the ability to lead you into a creation that was never intended. Can you expound on what that means?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, I like that. I like that, man. Yeah, one, it could inspire you to experiment with things technically. It can bring up emotions that you didn't think you had towards particular subjects. And also, not only that, it builds your confidence for the next piece, right? I mean, with every rep you do, you're getting stronger. You're getting wiser, right? You're learning how to move correctly, learning how to deal with the medium. So all in all, I mean, emotionally, visually, technically, each piece will always influence the next one, whether it's in your conscious or subconscious.
As you can see, I did my homework. So you also,
Yeah, no, you really did, bro.
you also said this, and I thought this was really dope. You said creativity is allowing yourself to make mistakes. Art is knowing which ones to keep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely, man. So I learned this when I first started using photo references, right? And I was trying to get it exactly like the photo, because it's actually funny. My dad had a huge influence on my style of realism, because this is a funny story, but when I was younger, I would always draw people, but I would never draw their face, right? Because it was intimidating. And my mom saw every drawing. She's like, "Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. It's awesome. I love it." And my dad's like picking it apart, man. And back then I was like, "Oh, this is frustrating." But now, I mean, I wouldn't be as anal about my work if it wasn't for him. Like he really like will nitpick every little thing, and that's invaluable, bro. And I mean, he's had such a big influence. But going back to the question, can you repeat the question one more time?
So if I remember correctly, because I was caught in the days. I ain't gonna lie.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Man.
Creativity is allowing yourself to make mistakes. Art is knowing which ones to keep.
Yes. So yeah, I was trying to be so like perfect with every single detail, like replicating every single detail from the photo to the canvas, that I was like, yo, this looks like a photo. Like, this is boring. So then I was like, you know what? Like, I don't think this looks good in the photo, so I'm gonna switch it up. And then sometimes I'll try to make like a perfect line, and we're not robots. So it's funny, like when someone sees my drawings, they're like, "Wow, I can't even draw a straight line." Bro, I can't draw a straight line. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
we in the same boat.
You know what I'm saying? So it's having the awareness to leave those happy accidents, as the legendary Bob Ross would say. Like that's when you're seasoned as an artist, because you're kind of implementing your like intuition with your visual and technical experience from past paintings, right? So now like, oh, like I know that looks good. Let me take a step away. Let me not look at the painting for a while. Come back, and yeah, no, that may not look like technically correct, but it works with the painting, because there's a bunch of things like. For example, it's funny because my girl saw me mixing these colors on the palette, right? And she's like, "That's gray. What is not gray?" Right? And I'm like, they're not gray in your mind because you're thinking of what you know, not what you see, right? And that's something very important that I always think about when I'm creating, right? You got to think about what you see and not what you know. Right? Because if you think about water, you're going to think, oh, it's blue, right? No, that's gray water, right? But it works with the environment. It's all about color relationship. So that's another thing, learning how to break away from what you know and focus on what you see, right? And that will lead into like, leaving certain marks or whatever like that,
Does art make you tap into a different part of your brain or a different part of your mind that everything else doesn't make you really tap into?
Yeah, peace, tranquility, right? Strength, motivation, creativity. Even spirituality, man. I mean, everything I create ain't coming from me. That's God. So I give all the glory to him, man. I can't do any of this without him. A lot of artists like to take credit for their artwork. I don't. Like, whatever you see, that ain't me. I'm just a vessel, man. So yeah.
What was it like meeting Spike Lee?
Oh, that was dope. Man. So
So this painting of Spike Lee was like the idea was proposed to me by my little brother, who's a huge fan of Spike. I mean, this kid could tell you every line from every movie, right? And he was like, yo, Shane, like, I think you should make a dope piece of Spike Lee. And I was like, really? And it's funny because I had never seen the movie Do the Right Thing, right? 2 weeks prior, before him telling me this idea, I had seen it for the first time, right? Because I was out of work for 2 weeks. I had a bad injury. So I actually watched the movie 3 times. And then he told me that, and I was like, you know what? I should, man. Like, this dude's really about the culture, man. Like, he really bringing light to, you know, all people of underrepresented communities. So I was like, yo, let's do it. So actually, me and my brother conceptualized the piece, right? He was helping me out a little bit, you know, because he's well versed with his body of work. And we made it, and he was like, yeah, you know what? I'm telling you, like, I see it. And like I'm kind of you know, mimicking him, right? He's like, no, like, I see it, man. You don't understand, like you can, like, you're gonna meet him, and like, yo, he's gonna autograph this painting. And I was like, that's a stretch, but that sounds cool. You know what? I'll do it. So we started it in 2018, and I met him in 2022. I didn't start working on the painting until like 2 weeks before I met him. So this painting is a work of like 4 years, because there's multiple accolades in here that he didn't earn until I met him. Like when he won the Oscar, I forget what year, but that wasn't in 2018, right? That came after the fact. When he made the movie Five Bloods, that was during the creation of this painting. So I kept adding to it as the years went on. Like what more accolades he got, I kept adding to the painting. And then I was like, you know what? Like, it's time. So I saw on his Instagram that he was like, hey, I'm having a pop-up, whatever. Like, he was like selling merch, right? So I was like, nah, this is it. This is it. And going back to my lady, she was like, this is it. We are taking this painting and we are pulling up to his studio in Brooklyn, and it's gonna happen. That's what I did, man. I put the painting in my car and we drove there, and I just pulled up in front of him, and he was like, damn. He was like, wow, this is dope. This is sick. And he was able to sign it for me, man. And initially, like, yo, I wanted him to buy this piece. I'm not gonna lie, but one thing I realized is that, especially celebrities, they're always being gifted free art, man. They're so desensitized to it, right? Although he appreciates art, this guy's giving thousands of pieces of art a year, you know. So I understood that, but I gave him my information. You know, we spoke for a little bit, and it was a great experience, man. He was checking out every single moment in this piece, man. And he really appreciated it. He really appreciated it. It was a great experience, man. It was hot as hell that day, though. But, you know, sitting outside talking to him, but it was really cool.
You are a left-handed painter.
Yes.
What is it like being a left-handed painter? And do you feel like it's a difference in approach and stroke when it comes to you painting with your left hand?
So, interesting you say that. I had to create with my right hand for a short amount of time in college.
Why is that?
Because I broke my left hand. Yeah. So I broke my left hand, and it was in the middle of semester. And, you know, I thought I was going to get some, like, baby treatment. I went to my professor. I was like, look, I broke my hand. Like, I don't think I'm going to be able to do the assignments. And she literally looked at me and said, you have your right hand. And I was like, okay, I guess it just got real. And when I tell you what an experience of growth, man. I felt disabled, man. I trying to create with my right hand. And I would have never known, you know, I wouldn't be able to answer your question about like the difference of stroke and anything if I would have never had this experience, right? So I actually drew pretty well with my right hand, man. And what I realized was it was a mind-muscle connection. I really had to think about what I was doing and really take my time. And the art came out good, man. Good. But as far as to answer your question accurately, like I really don't know. I mean, I've been drawing with my left my whole life, so it's just natural.
I feel it. That's dope. It's crazy that you had to try it out. Like, a lot of people never really get outside their comfort zone unless they really had to. So it's crazy that you actually had to really get out of your comfort zone and really try it out. So I guess my final question would be is what's next for Shane Velez? Like, where do you see yourself taking art in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, I want the series I'm working on right now to be in a museum. If not in a museum, definitely in a reputable gallery or part of a gallery's collection for sure. I still do commissions. If anybody's interested, let me know. We can make it happen. But definitely more known than I am now, for sure. And within the next like 5 to 10 years, the goal is to make it my main source of income for sure.
What role does social media play in getting your art out there?
Oh, it's a godsend, man. Like, social media is lit. Like, if anything, about 80% of the commissions I get is from Instagram. You know, so social media is great tool.
I do have a question. When you took breaks from art, what was going on that made you stop being in art?
Confusion, purpose. Like, what am I really supposed to do? Like I like art, but like, I don't know if I like it that much. And also, I think it all came down to work ethic, man. I was just lazy. I'm gonna be honest, lazy, bro. Right? And also, weightlifting kind of took the place of art for that time. And I wanted to do sports medicine. And I was heavy. I was heavy into weightlifting, man. It was crazy. That was literally like my everyday. So now I see that it was a distraction. And that's what it was, man. It was, I think now looking back, it was purely like just laziness, man. Laziness and just like trying to replace the passion with something that was feeding the ego in the moment, and dude, I was lying to myself. I always wanted to do art, but I was too lazy and complacent to go after it. And as a man now, about to be 32 years old in September, there's no time to waste. And those years of being lazy or just like thinking you have more time, it's built me up to the grind that I have now. And although some people may see it as like a speed bump or like, oh, you lost time, whatever, nah, man, that definitely has influence on my drive now, and I'm thankful for it. Yeah, bro.
I just want to say I'm proud of you, bro. Being able to be in your gallery, seeing the art that you're doing, seeing your growth since high school, seeing that you found love and all those things that bring purpose and meaning to life. I'm just happy to say, like, yo, like, you're on the path to righteousness and you're doing all the things that you need to do. I will say, just keep prospering, stay hungry, keep growing, do things that make you uncomfortable, and don't forget where you came from. I think a lot of people, when they get to a certain level, they get very complacent and they forget where they came from. Don't forget where you came from. Do you have goals of having your own gallery one day?
Yeah, definitely, man. I don't have a time frame for it, but that's definitely an aspiration of mine, for sure.
What would you name your gallery?
Ooh, good question. Dang, man, that's a really good question. I haven't even thought about that yet.
Make it make sense. Put that joint into action, bro. It's only a matter of time.
Facts. You're right, bro. You're right.
Is there anything that you felt like I didn't ask you that you would like to tell the people?
Nah, I think you hit every single question, man. I mean, one, I appreciate you doing your homework. That surprised me, man. That was dope. And you asked every question, not only about the art, but about me as an individual. So, this was a dope conversation, man.
If people want to find you, get commissions, where can they go to do so?
You can contact me through email, shanevelezart@gmail.com, or you can DM me on Instagram at art_by_s.velez.
Very dope. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to Talking Ain't Cheap podcast. The network is immaculate. Shout out to the Immaculate Love Show shops every Sunday. And thank you for just the support. Make sure y'all support my bro Shane Velez. Very dope artist out of Staten Island. He's outside. He's everywhere that y'all want to be. And like I said, you're tuning in to Talking Ain't Cheap. It's not that deep. It's a vibe.